Have you ever thought about taking your cats on RV trips? Well, we used to go without them, and we had a neighbor watch them when we were gone, and then we started going on longer and longer trips. So then we had a problem. We couldn't leave them home that long, even with the neighbor coming and checking on them, you know, like every day. It just didn't matter. I mean, they're part of our family. We want to take them with us. So we started on shorter trips, and then we started taking them on longer trips. We started with hard-sided cages. We've transitioned over to these little things. But we like them for several reasons. We have two sizes. Izzy's our little one, Max is our bigger one. And so these are their two carriers. And I really like that they open several different ways and that they actually fold down flat. So this is how you can easily open and put a cat inside. And then they also have this other side, which is much smaller, and it has a little Velcro thing here. So if you want to stick a little bowl on here, like with food, I don't know that it would hold water, but I'm sure you could rig something up if you wanted to. But we don't ever feed or water our cats while we're driving. We make sure that they're good and fed and good and hydrated before we leave on a trip. And then we only travel usually maybe max 4 hours in a day. So that by the time, and that's the time that they're normally sleeping when we're home or when we're parked somewhere. So it kind of doesn't matter. They just get a little bit anxious, but other than that, they don't need food or water. They usually end up falling asleep anyway. Now, but at the beginning it was a lot rougher. So that's how these little carriers work, and they are so much more convenient compared to what we used to have in those old-fashioned hard-sided ones. They have this little thing in here which makes the bottom sturdy. It's sturdy. There's Velcro so it doesn't move. And then this thing has a zipper on it, and so you can take the thing that's hard and cushioned out of here, and you can actually throw the cover in the washer. I don't use that way because usually when we're camping, especially when we're on the road for a long time, I don't want to be dealing with trying to wash something like this. Now, instead, what I do is I leave these things in there, but instead of washing that washable thing, I would rather put some towels in there. So if they have a little mistake, if they go potty, which we've never had happen, but Izzy does get sick sometimes. She gets a little motion sickness, so she might barf, and I usually catch it because she's in my lap when we're traveling. But this is so much easier to be able to roll this thing up, throw it in, the dirty clothes, kind of rinse it out, and then wash it with our next load of rags. So that's what they get now. Both of them get one of these in the bottom. And I also tried regular like towels, bath towels, but I found that those are actually too big. They take up too much space in here. And so I like this. It's enough of a cushion and enough of an absorbent that if there is an accident, then we're covered. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in here. Look, Izzy's ready to go. When we first started, we actually did try we took them to the vet and we got some medications and stuff, and we decided that just wasn't what we wanted to do. It didn't work. It made Max go more crazy. And for Izzy, it was traumatic to try to give her the medication. She was running around, spitting it out all over the place. So that didn't work, even though it may have calmed her down a little bit. It surely wasn't like what we really needed. So I got both of them Thundercoats. Max hates his. I think it feels too tight on him, or he feels like claustrophobic or something. But Izzy actually does really well with hers. She is happy when she feels real secure. And you'll see when we get moving, I actually take her out of her carrier and she sits on my lap in her Thundercoat. But I gotta get this thing around her neck first. And so it fits her like around the neck part is the easiest to go first, and then go underneath her little belly. And then there's more Velcro here. You can see how much we used it. There's so much cat hair and fuzz and stuff in this thing. But it works great. And then just wrap her around. I call her my little sausage when she's done because she looks like a little sausage. And there, she's got her Thundercoat on. So she can walk around and stuff in that. And if it seems like it's kind of bunching up around her arms, just kind of adjust it a little bit. But that's it. Huh, yes. You ready to go camping? Your mama's baby girl. Good girl. All right, so now she's going to go inside, and I am going to zip her in there. Good girl. And I love that these things are so flexible, and so like if she's kind of sticking out a little bit, it's easy to just zip her right in there. And I always carry from these 2 straps here. This one, I don't ever like throw it over my shoulder, but I do just kind of like close it up anyway. And then I always hold from the bottom when I'm moving her, and she's ready to go. You ready to go camping, baby girl? Yeah, good girl. All right, so we're gonna go get Max, put him in his, and he reluctantly walks into his. He might be hiding now, so I'm gonna go find him and see if I could get him in his carrier. And he does better walking in the side instead of putting him in the top. You kind of just gotta know your pet and know what works best. And Max is a big boy, so we need to open this big side for him to get in there. And she's going to start getting vocal now, but she's fine. She's just letting us know she knows it's time to go travel and she doesn't like it. But that's okay because she loves camping when we get there. So let me go find Max. Okay, here's our big boy. Huh, Max, you ready to go? You ready to go? Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. All right, then they have their seats in the truck. Max sits on the center console. We have that folded down so he can look out the window. And then Izzy actually gets out of her carrier. I help her when she seems like she might be getting a little motion sickness and we're on bumpy roads, especially when we're boondocking on bumpy roads. If I take her out and I hold her and I kind of absorb a lot of that like bumpy, shocky ride for her, and especially if I steady her neck and hold like her neck and so that her head isn't wobbling around, she does a whole lot better. And she hardly ever gets sick anymore. So we'll take them out and get them loaded and then we're gonna hit the road. So if you have any questions, let me know, but we will show you how they are during the drive, and then we'll show you how we work everything when we're setting up, and we keep them all closed up and locked up so that they can't get hurt with anything as we're moving slides in and out and driving around and stuff like that. Here we got Max first, and I make sure that he is facing with the biggest window forward because he gets to look out right here. And he's nice and steady here. He'll settle down as we get going. He's anxious right now. He knows we're gonna start driving and he doesn't like it. But pretty soon he'll start yelling a little bit and then he'll just eventually give up and go like, okay, I guess I'm in for about a 3 or 4 hour ride. So he's good there. Here's little Izzy. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set her in my seat. Pete's obviously gonna be driving today. And she's really good once we get going after we let her out. But while we're maneuvering, we don't want to be worried about them getting under pedals or jumping out a window or anything like that. So we kind of put up with them yelling at us a little bit. And once we get on the road and everything feels like really safe, then I'll let her out, and I'm gonna go get I got paper towels that are right here in my side pocket. So if Izzy ends up getting sick, I try to wad up a bunch of paper towels and catch that so that I can easily throw that away. But we're pretty much ready to go. Okay, we are rolling down the road now. So you can see Max is in here. I don't open the top here for Max much because he likes to try to get out when he can. And we're afraid that he will get around the pedals and kind of just be jumping around. And he actually does okay in here by himself. So we just leave him all zipped up in there and he's good. Izzy is actually being ridiculously quiet today. So I don't know. I guess she's just ready to go camping. There she is. Huh, Iz? You're doing real good, huh, honey? I'll just leave her in there until she starts getting a little antsy, and then when she's ready to come out, she'll let me know. Again, just know your animals, and after you kind of like, you know, take them on a couple of trips, you'll find habits that kind of work for all of you, and it's it's a really pleasant experience, because we know that if we were ever traveling any other way, we wouldn't be taking our cats with us. I think we're about a 3.5 hour drive time today. And we'll let you know how things are going along the route. Here's Izzy. She's already looking around outside. She likes to look around, but that's just to kind of know where we are, where we go. And then she'll usually get a little vocal, and then she'll just be quiet and lay down. Oh, her coat's starting to come off too, so I need to readjust her coat. She does have her coat on for the entire drive, and once we actually get in the trailer, I'll take it off. One thing that we noticed is when one of these two starts to get a little vocal, it kind of encourages the other one to get a little vocal, and it's not necessarily that one is always doing it and starting it. They kind of take turns. I opened the top of her carrier, and she's peeking out and looking at the car that's actually, it's a UPS or USPS, a postal service truck next to us, and she's checking that out, just kind of looking around. She's nice and calm today. She's really not normally this quiet. So every time we kind of start to take off, so we were at a stoplight there, every time we start to take off, I will give her, I'll kind of like pet her a little bit, and I do that so that she doesn't feel that jolt of acceleration. And if I'm kind of bouncing her head because I'm scratching her head or under her chin or something like that, it seems to kind of take that shock factor away from when, you know, we're moving and stopping and going and that kind of thing. And I got Max's carrier top open here, and for some reason, I don't know why, but he's not trying to get out today. How are you doing? You doing okay? Oh, you are ready to look out. All right, good boy. What do you see? When he can look out, he gets a little bit quiet, then he'll kind of start getting loud again. You want a little lovin's too, huh, honey? Yeah. I don't even know how much Max weighs, but he's pretty heavy, and so once he gets a little momentum going, he will kind of push his way through things. So that's one of the reasons why we don't ever let him completely out of his carrier. We let him look around a little bit, feel comfortable, know that we're kind of moving and going on a camp trip, and then kind of set him back in there and zip him back up, and he's just fine. And yes, we've got
you need some air.
Kitty hair blowing all over. If Izzy starts to get a little bit sick, one of the things that we do is we will turn the air conditioner on. And for whatever reason, she doesn't like the vent flow, but she does like the air conditioner air. So again, know your animals, figure out what works. You'll find little secrets along the way. So good boy, Max. You ready to take a little nap? We got a little drive ahead of us today, baby. Good boy. Yeah, say hi to everybody. Okay, Izzy's starting to get a little bit antsy, and so I'm going to let her out of her carrier, taking her out the top, and then she's just gonna sit right on my lap. And the carrier is nice and flexible, so I can just kind of push it down by my feet. It's really not in the way. And this way she can look out a little bit more, and she just kind of likes to start her little sunbathing process and sit on my lap and just kind of let the sun come in through the front window, and she's happy. So she'll spin around a couple of times until she finds a good spot. I normally have a blanket up here for her, but I don't have one today, so we'll see. Maybe I need to pull those little towels out of her carrier. Oh, the one thing I forgot to mention earlier is this little purple collar that's on here is a feel-away collar, and it helps her. We have plug-ins, and the collar seems to help her the most. We've also got spray, and that is a relaxer. It's a nice, pleasant scent. We can barely smell it, but it's definitely something that helps her to stay calm. She's the one that's a lot more anxious, and Max is more laid back. He's going to be vocal and let us know he's not happy, but he doesn't ever get sick or anything. So Izzy's the one that we need to kind of help along a little bit more than Max. And Pete's driving. And every once in a while he'll say he's tired and needs a nap, so he needs to hold Izzy and we need to switch. But I think he'll be okay today, yes?
Yeah, so far so good. You gotta find a spot.
Yeah.
Disperse, so.
Part of the issue for us is because we like boondocking, we have no reservations. So it doesn't matter that we left at like 1:30 and we were supposed to be leaving sometime, I don't know, maybe around 10-ish, but I was running late because I had a bunch of stuff that I didn't get done yesterday. So we don't really have a schedule, and that's one of the things that we really like about boondocking. We don't have like a check-in and a check-out time, but it also means that, you know, we don't have a reservation. And, oh, there goes Max, he's getting louder. We don't have a reservation, and of course we're going down a lot of bumpy roads, which are harder on the cats, and so that's a little bit of an issue. So now I'm going to show you what Izzy looks like, and she is, when she gets really relaxed, she will put her head on my hand and just kind of chill out. So you can see that I'm scratching her chin. She gets lots of loving on the road when we're traveling because she has such a hard time with it. So we do whatever we can to try to make her nice and calm and relaxed. So you can see she's doing really well here. There was one time that we were going through, I forgot which Indian reservation we were traveling through. We were going
Navajo.
on, was it Navajo?
Yeah.
And we were on our way to, was it Monument Valley or?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Monument
Valley
Valley.
of the
We
Gods.
traveled through that Indian reservation quite a bit to go to a lot of different destinations out of Phoenix. We live in Phoenix. So Izzy was doing really great. She was sitting on my lap just like she is right now, and she was sleeping, and all of a sudden she like woke up, immediately barfed, and like there was no sign that was telling me that she was about to get sick. I mean, like I thought she was really relaxed and she was like dead out sleeping. So you just kind of never know, and you just deal with whatever and just try to keep them as calm and relaxed as possible. So we don't yell at them when they are getting vocal or whatever. We try to calmly talk to them. Eventually we might kind of go, hey Max, or kind of like in a little more stern voice to try to let them know, like, okay, we hear you, but like we're just going for a ride, baby, so just hang on. And then usually he'll give up for a while. And I was kind of thinking about some of the things that we've learned. Pete and I have been taking the cats with us now on camping trips for how many years now?
I don't know, 13.
No, on camping trips.
Oh, yeah.
At least 4, right?
Oh, more than that.
More than that? I don't know. We can't even count anymore. A long time. So we've learned a lot along the way. And, it's kind of funny when you are so used to it and all of a sudden you start thinking back on, oh, remember how we had to learn that or learn that. So one of the things that I was thinking about was that we learned that the more calm we can make things, the better off it is. And so if we try to like load everything and the house is like chaotic as we're loading the trailer and stuff, the cats get an idea that we're going, and they don't want to go and they don't want to travel. They do want to go, but they don't want to do the travel part. So they'll start to find little places to hide. But the more that we take them, the better it is. The more they kind of get used to it. It's not that, that it's this once in a year thing that becomes really kind of scary. And the other thing that we learned is that we try to make everything while we're driving and in the camper, we try to make everything as close to home as possible. So there's not a whole lot of change. So we make sure that we have plenty of their food. Izzy is now on a prescription food, so it's a little harder to get than just going to the local PetSmart or whatever.
No, that's where we get it, PetSmart.
Yeah, we have to get it there. We did get it at ours, but not all of them carry the food. We make sure that we've got plenty of their stuff. We don't want to change their litter. We don't want to change you know, their food bowls. We actually have the same litter box in the trailer that we do at home. I still need to get another food bowl set for them, but right now we're just taking the same one in and out of the trailer into the house. So they're kind of used to that. They've got a couple of their little beds that they like, and they're duplicates at home and in the camper. And they find places where they like to go. We have all of the furniture is covered because you know, it's easier to clean up if somebody gets sick or there's cat hair flying all over the place. It's easier to wrap up whether it be a blanket or a towel or something and throw that in the washer versus having to clean furniture. And also they do have their hind claws, and so they can tend to scratch things as they're kind of jumping around in the camper. So we just try to keep it covered so it's just, you know, it doesn't look like, you know, cats have gone wild in there. We try to just keep everything calm and kind of like normal. And then once we arrive, there is a pattern that we are in, and basically we get Izzy in the camper first. We first park and get everything kind of situated, open the slides. One caution that I have for you is that people who travel with, whether they be dogs, cats, whatever kind of pets, there have been instances where people have accidentally killed their pet because they were bringing in a slide and didn't realize that their pet was scared and kind of went to a little place to hide and ended up getting crushed by the slide. That is just horrifying to me. I can't even imagine what those people went through in a situation like that. So we always keep these guys in their carriers, zipped up, because anytime where there's any kind of movement of anything, doors opening, closing, where they might be able to get out if they're scared, we don't want that to happen. One time we did, we were camping, or we were looking for a spot in one of our favorite summertime spots in Arizona, and we were out of the truck, and both of us were looking around to see how we could set up and maneuver in this dispersed camping spot. We had the windows of the truck were open a little bit, and Izzy got out. And all of a sudden we saw her outside, and she must have climbed up on the side and got through the crack in the window and was walking around. She wasn't hurt or anything, so I don't know if she like landed on her feet or whatever. Maybe the cats have 9 lives thing happened, but she was fine. But we were shocked. We did not think that she could get out of the truck the way that, as much as we had the windows just kind of cracked open. So now we have a policy that is they are in their zipped up carriers where they absolutely can't get out. And then when we are ready to actually put them in the camper, we take them one at a time. Izzy goes first, and we bring the whole carrier in. We close the door behind us, and then we get her out of her carrier and her little Thundercoat. And then, she could go potty or get some water or food or whatever. And then after she's in and settled, then we go get Max. But we don't at any point in time leave a door open or a window open where they can escape anymore. So they're just scared, It's not like they want to run away or anything, because really, who would want to run away from our house, right?
Right, that's what I always say.
Because we love our animals and they love us, and so I think that, but definitely when they get scared, they just kind of, react in a way where they're just trying to protect themselves. If they do get too vocal while we're riding, and today they're actually both pretty good and pretty quiet, but we'll try to talk to them, and then eventually we'll just kind of, if they keep it up, we'll turn on some music, not super loud, but enough to kind of drown them out a little bit, and then just kind of ignore them, and then they go, they give it up. You do what?
I do that when I'm tired of driving.
You talk to me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of like a cat.
in a big yawn.
Right.
He starts nodding off with his head, give me the signal that it's time for us to switch seats. A long, lonely stretch of I-10 out of Buckeye on our way to Quartzsite and then over to Kofa. So we're about an hour and a half down the road now, and we still have a ways to go, but both Max and Izzy are doing really well. Izzy is comfortably relaxing on my lap, and Max is comfortably relaxing in his carrier. Pete's even doing really, oh, wait a second, I think I need to drive. One thing we were just talking about was how it was so horrible when we first started traveling, because Izzy would get sick on like pretty much every trip, and it would almost be like clockwork. Somewhere between a half hour or an hour into the ride, she would just be sick and vomit. But she would usually start the trip off kind of calm, and then eventually she would start shaking like she was just scared. No matter if her Thundercoat was on or I was holding her real tight or whatever, it was kind of like we just couldn't avoid it. And so we tried with and without the drugs and stuff. So I'm not exactly sure what changed in all of that, but I do know that things have settled down, and after years worth of doing this is kind of what we have now. And it is just such a blessing to be able to not be, feeling bad that we're taking the cats and they're miserable and getting sick. And that would be the last thing that we would want, is to do something that actually makes them sick. So for them to both be able to relax and just kind of enjoy the whole experience of RVing with us is truly a blessing for us. So just if you have any problems as you're trying to transition your pets into traveling with you, just stick with it and try different things and don't give up. And I believe that eventually you'll find the right program, the right formula that works for you and your pets.
Getting ready to turn off at Quartzsite, about 5 miles. About 1.6 miles.
So we are still good with gas. We don't need to fuel up here.
We'll have to kick somebody out of our spot if there's somebody in our spot.
If somebody's in our spot, we got to kick them out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have ways.
He talks big for the winter. I forgot how much it is. They're getting ready to raise the rates, and I know that there were some public meetings and people deciding, sounds like Izzy might be getting ready to get sick.
Is that Izzy or Max?
Yeah. Our GPS is now telling us we got 1.1 miles before we make this turn. Recreation sign, Kofa National Wildlife Refuge, Palm Canyon. It's a little bit tight, and then it's got a little bit of pavement, and then it goes to dirt pretty quickly. Did you get sick on the whoop-de-doos? You don't like those, huh? So she did get sick a little bit, just a little bit of bile, but she's looking around. I don't think I was holding her head good enough while we were doing that, down that road. As we drive in here and we continue down this bumpy road, we are, I still have Izzy on my lap, and I'm going to try to keep her as steady as possible so she doesn't get sick again. And I won't put her in her carrier until we kind of find a spot that we think we need to stop and get out and look around and see if it looks like we're going to be able to get into the spot, maneuver, and that's where we're going to set up. So I want her to sit on my lap as long as possible. Max is still doing just fine in his carrier, and hopefully we're going to find a spot up here and we're not going to have to turn back around. And as soon as we do figure out what we're going to do, then we'll put Izzy in her carrier so that we can begin all of our setup stuff. Pete's trying to figure out if we can make it into that spot right there. So now that we're going to try to maneuver, Izzy, it's time. You ready, baby girl? It's time for you to go back in your carrier, and then we're going to get all set up for the night. You ready to go in your carrier? Huh? Yeah. All right, so we got the kitties. They're both in their carriers. Izzy's in hers, Max is in his. We found our spot. This is where we're going to set up. We're setting up now, and we're waiting to level. Okay, you guys ready? We're finally ready. We're finally ready. Izzy, you're coming first. Max, you're coming second. All right, how you doing, baby girl? You did okay? You did okay? All right, we're gonna close this so you can't get out. Okay, hang on. Okay, yes, hang on. Hang on, baby girl. Oh, my little one is hungry. You're hungry, huh? Yes. All right, I didn't even finish putting all this stuff out. Here comes your brother. Okay, good girl. Come here, I'm gonna get you some water. Yeah, you did good, honey. There you go, Iz. You ready to come out, baby? All right. Good boy, Max. Here you go. Here you go. Max, Max. Hey, come here. Come here, baby. You're right here. You let Izzy eat, and you can eat too. Good boy. All right, now, there's the litter box right in here. There it is, all ready for everybody. Everybody's settling in really well. I need to put away all the stuff I didn't unpack before I got going today since we got a late start. So I'm gonna put my stuff away. Okay, so we're not done yet. Okay, this is what normally happens. When we first arrive, she wants her space, and so they do a little bit of hissing on on the first day that we arrive. After we're here for a couple of hours, everybody settles down. Leave her alone, Pete.
It's okay.
Yeah, she just wants she needs a little alone time. So all we do here at this point is we keep them separated. I'll stay inside, and that's my setup. Pete does outside, I do inside, and it works because then I can keep an eye on the kitties. So if they start getting a little, little messy with each other, I can kind of separate them. But it just takes a little bit of time on our first setup day, and then after that, they're completely fine the rest of the trip. Somebody is going to get this little spot here. This is one of the spots where we have the cat bed, and wow, what a view they have. Look at their view of the sunset out the window. That's a great view spot. So they normally take turns to sit in here, but right now, since we just arrived, they're gonna hang out for a little bit. Well, we are all settled in for the night, and I can confidently say that Max and Izzy have made another great trip and are ready to hit the hay, huh, baby boy? Yeah. Yeah, so Max has taken his position for the night. He likes that little pedestal with the window behind it, which we've got the blind closed right now because we're almost ready to go to bed. But he loves that little bed right there. And Izzy is nice and comfy. She is taking her position, which is, yes, she likes to sleep on top of my pillow. If you want to check out this place where we are camping right now, it's the Kofa National Wildlife Refuge. I will leave a link for that video in the description below. See you soon.